What if a single play could change the entire fate of a season, or even impact the history of a football team or the Super Bowl itself? We all know that a single game can shift the outcome, but there are moments that don't just decide the winner or loser. They define the legacy of a team, a season, and sometimes even the greatest championship in the world. Today, we're diving into the most heartbreaking moments in Super Bowl history. These are the plays where one mistake or wrong decision changed everything, leaving a deep scar in the hearts of fans. Together, we'll look at these unforgettable plays and try to decide which one left the biggest, most painful mark in Super Bowl history. They leave a scar that echoes throughout sports history, forever etched in our collective memory. But why do these moments of Super Bowl heartbreak resonate so deeply with millions of fans around the world? There's no pain like losing in the Super Bowl. The world is watching, and in just one moment, a single mistake can steal the victory you've been waiting for all season. The pressure is unimaginable. The cheers, the roars, the stakes. Everything comes down to one single moment. One decision that changes everything. And for the players and fans, that moment lingers. It haunts them for years as they wonder what could have been. Today, we're going to explore those painful moments, the plays that weren't just failures. They were lost chances at glory. We're not just remembering games. We're diving into the heart-wrenching memories that never fade. The moments that change not just a game, but a legacy. It's the final minutes of Super Bowl 42. The undefeated New England Patriots, aiming for a perfect 19-0 season and a place in sports immortality, are just moments away from securing a historic victory against the underdog New York Giants. All they have to do is hold on for one last drive. Eli Manning, under massive pressure and facing an almost certain sack, somehow breaks free from the grasp of defenders. He throws a desperate, improbable pass downfield, and David Tyree, with a Patriots defender draped all over him, somehow pins the ball against his helmet for a miraculous, unbelievable catch. In real time, it looks impossible. A play born out of sheer will and desperation. That catch wasn't just a highlight, it was the spark that ignited the Giants' improbable game-winning drive. For the Patriots, it was the moment their perfect season, their historic legacy, slipped through their fingers in the most unbelievable and heartbreaking way imaginable. For New England, this moment wasn't just about losing the game. It was about the feeling of having absolute perfection, a unique place in sports history, stolen from them by a single, impossible play. It was a loss that haunted not just the players, but an entire fan base who had witnessed greatness crumble at the very last step. Patriots fans don't just remember the loss, they remember the feeling of disbelief, of utter shock. The feeling that something truly historic was taken away in an instant, leaving nothing but a bitter taste of what could have been. This play wasn't just a loss. It was a heartbreak that would linger long after the final whistle blew. It was a loss to the Giants, but more painfully, it was a loss to the very idea of an undefeated perfect season. After perfection was shattered, we now face a moment when an entire city's hopes were crushed with just one kick. This is the wide right. Super Bowl 25. It's the moment every Buffalo Bills fan had been waiting for. The team's first shot at a Super Bowl title. With only seconds left, the Bills are down by 1 point. From 47 yards out, Scott Norwood stands alone on the field. The entire city of Buffalo is watching, holding its collective breath. Scott Norwood lines up for what would be the most important kick of his life. He approaches the ball with a steady foot, and the crowd watches as it soars towards the goalposts. but as it nears, it veers wide right. The kick is off target. 1 foot to the left and the Bills would have been champions. 1 inch more and history would have been rewritten. But in that moment, all of Buffalo's dreams of a Super Bowl vanished with the ball as it sailed out of reach. The pain wasn't just in the missed kick. The real heartbreak was in the realization that this was their one chance. The Bills had never been this close, and they would never get another shot at it in the same way. For years, Bills fans would wake up to that same feeling, the what if. What if Norwood's kick had been perfect? What if Buffalo's history had been rewritten? For so many, this was a moment they would carry with them forever. It wasn't just a missed field goal. It was a heartbreak that defined an entire era for the Buffalo Bills, and for anyone who was there, that feeling never went away. If wide right was about mere inches, our next agonizing moment highlights the sheer despair of being just 1 single yard short of ultimate glory. It's the final seconds of Super Bowl 34. The Tennessee Titans, trailing by just 7 points, have one last chance. Kevin Dyson, the man with the ball, is just 1 yard from the end zone, 1 yard away from making history. The Titans, a team that had defied all odds to reach this point, are on the verge of glory. Dyson runs with everything he's got. He breaks through a tackle and stretches towards the goal line, but just as he nears the end zone, he's met by an unforgiving stop, 1 yard short. Mike Jones, the Rams linebacker, makes the game-winning tackle. The clock hits 0 immediately after that play. This is the kind of moment where victory feels so close, so attainable, and yet just out of reach. For the Titans, this wasn't just about a missed opportunity. It was about watching glory slip away by the smallest of margins. Had Dyson crossed that line for a touchdown, scoring 6 points, the Titans would have been faced with 2 possible paths: kicking an extra point to tie the game at 23-23, forcing overtime, or attempting a 2-point conversion to win the Super Bowl outright. That single yard was the agonizing difference between a championship and a lifetime of what-ifs. The pain isn't just in the fact that they lost, it's in knowing how close they were. 1 yard, just 1 more yard. It's the ultimate what-if in Super Bowl history. For Titans fans, this moment will forever be etched in their minds as the what could have been. The chance to become Super Bowl champions was within their grasp, only to be crushed in the final moments. The heartbreak of coming so close, yet falling short, will haunt them for decades. This was a missed chance at immortality, and the scar of that failure would stay with them for years. Speaking of lost glory, our next heartbreaking play takes us through a valiant comeback effort, only to see it slip away tragically short. It's the final minutes of Super Bowl 47. The San Francisco 49ers, trailing by just 5 points, have driven the length of the field. They are on the doorstep of glory. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Victory is within their grasp. But what happens next is a slow, agonizing collapse. On 1st down, stopped. On 2nd down, an incomplete pass. The stadium holds its collective breath. 2 chances left. The tension is unbearable. Then, on 4th down, the final play. With time slipping away, Colin Kaepernick, surrounded by chaos, launches a desperate throw to the corner of the end zone for his receiver, Michael Crabtree. It's more than just a pass. It's a moment that could define an entire legacy. But as the ball spirals toward its target, a defender rises to break it up. The stadium, once roaring, is now silent. That single pass, that fleeting chance, falls incomplete, vanishing into the cold air like a dream unfulfilled. The moment, the hope, is gone forever. In that deafening silence, you see it all. Kaepernick staring into space, Crabtree pleading for a penalty that never came, and Coach Jim Harbaugh screaming in fury. It was the moment their world shattered. For the players, the agony of seeing failure in each other's eyes. For the fans, a dream turned to ash, right in the palm of their hands. It wasn't just the end of a game. It was the death of a dream. The crushing weight of knowing just how close they came to touching immortality, only to have it slip away in an instant. And finally, we come to one of the most stunning, soul-crushing moments that still echoes in Super Bowl history: Malcolm Butler's unforgettable interception. There are just 26 seconds left in Super Bowl 49. The Seattle Seahawks are 1 yard away from glory. In their backfield stands Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch, their unstoppable force. With 3 downs to play, victory feels not just possible, but inevitable. The world is waiting for one more beastquake, the seismic eruption of power Marshawn Lynch was known for. But then, the unthinkable happens. A decision that would haunt Seahawks fans for eternity and fuel endless debates. In a moment that seemed to defy all logic, the Seahawks choose to throw the ball. The world expects a handoff, a brute force run for glory. Instead, Russell Wilson takes the snap, drops back, and throws. He throws a quick slant pass over the middle to Ricardo Lockett. It looks like an easy touchdown, but out of nowhere, a blur of white and blue. Malcolm Butler, an undrafted rookie, explodes towards the ball with an impossible read. He snatches it from the air right on the goal line. Interception. The world stops. And in that deafening silence, you see the story on their faces. The unadulterated shock on Richard Sherman's face, an image that would become iconic. The smiling, vacant disbelief of Coach Pete Carroll. The raw joy of Tom Brady, who had just witnessed the collapse of his biggest rival's dynasty before his very eyes, and the complete despair of Russell Wilson. A dynasty vanished in a flash. For Patriots fans, it's a miracle. But for the Seahawks, it's a wound that may never heal. A heartbreak born not from a failure of effort, but from a failure of choice. A tragedy that came not from what they couldn't do, but from what they chose not to do. These moments, while incredibly painful for the players and fans, offer profound lessons about the game. But beyond the agony, why do they truly matter to us, the fans? For the players, these moments are haunting. They live with these mistakes for the rest of their careers. But for the fans, it's not just a game, it's a lifetime of disappointment. Every year they hold on to that one play, the one that could have changed everything, the one they can never forget. This is why these heartbreaking moments are remembered forever, because they are more than just plays. They are the heart and soul of a team's legacy. What's your ultimate heartbreak? Which Super Bowl play still haunts you to this day? Because in the end, these moments don't just define a team, they define us as fans. They're the scars that prove we cared. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if this video hit you right in the feels, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.